The night is always darkest before the dawn. There's been many a dark night for us as we've been waiting for Batman Arkham City, but finally it's here, and we're donning our cape and cowl once again and heading back to Gotham for a review of what's sure to be the longest night of Batman's life.
What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead!
Following on from the plot of Arkham Asylum, Gotham City's questionable governing body has gone from bad to worse. Hugo Strange has been put in charge of Arkham City, a massive walled compound in North Gotham that houses the city's ample population of criminals, thugs, thieves, and some people whose only crime was to speak ill of the system. Left to fend for themselves, the starved inmates turn to supervillains who promise them food, fame, and the chance of escape at the price of total loyalty. Two-Face, Penguin, and Joker are just some of the bad guys running things on the inside, and with the latter supposedly dying from a mysterious ailment, life on the heavily patrolled streets is even more chaotic than usual. Enter Batman.
Are you gonna be a good boy and give up nicely?
This is Air Tiger 3. We have visual on Batman. Awaiting orders. Over.
The combat is just as absorbing as it was in Arkham Asylum, with a few welcome tweaks here and there making it even more thrilling. Multiple enemy takedowns and context-sensitive actions are incredibly satisfying to pull off. And once you get into a flow of combat, building up long chains of attacks, it feels like you're playing the starring role in a fight sequence from a really great action movie. Weapon and combat upgrades add a bit of variety later on in the game, as do the more difficult enemies you'll come across. Armed with tasers and guns, they'll require a little more thought and strategy to overcome. Arkham City isn't the biggest open world you'll have come across, but what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in atmosphere. Gliding from rooftop to rooftop and grappling your way to the next objective is the only way to travel, making perfect sense of Rocksteady's decision not to include vehicles. There are a whole host of side missions to find and complete, with plenty of villains making an appearance. Their standalone story arcs add flavour to the action of the main plot, whilst providing plenty of nods to the comic books for die-hard fans. Arkham City's biggest gimmick is the inclusion of Catwoman as a playable character. Her sections weave through the main bulk of the Caped Crusader's story, shedding light on where she's been and how you end up finding her in some sticky situations. Though these Catwoman sections are relatively short, and her free roaming isn't as smooth as Batman's gliding, her faster attacks and brutal takedown animations are a payoff enough. Flexible in morals and in frame, there's no denying this cat can't take care of herself. Mess with her and it's a sexy game over. It's almost blasphemous for us to speak ill of the bats, but there were still a few minor annoyances. The context-sensitive nature of combat means that you may find yourself pressing buttons and getting a different response than the one you wanted, and when attempting to build up your combos, this can be frustrating. Boss fights, whilst engrossing, are too easy. You'll find yourself more challenged clearing out large numbers of goons than you will going up against some of the more famous names in the DC universe.
And I thought it was cats who have 9 lives.
That being said, there were more than enough things that we loved about Arkham City to make up for these shortcomings. Batman comic book fans are in for a treat. There are plenty of knowing nods to well-loved characters and their histories, and whilst Rocksteady have made their own memorable stamp and spin on the rogues gallery as supervillains, they're also amazingly respectful to the tone and the established canon of the comics. Gadgets, detecting, gliding, and deliciously brutal combat, this is the closest you'll come to feeling like Batman without having to put on a cape. As hardcore Batman fans, we were always doomed to love this game, but quite honestly, even we were surprised by just how much we enjoyed it. This is your chance to swoop through the streets and become the masked vigilante himself. The dark nights are over, the dawn for superhero games has come.
You still there? Answer me.
Ginx.